Shazam issue 3. Geoff Johns writing and Dale Eaglesham on the art. So yeah, Shazam issue 3. How weird is it we've got a new Geoff Johns comic to talk about? And it's not like Doomsday, it's not like the big event thing that's happening. It's just, no, he's doing an ongoing about a character.
It's a regular, it feels like Johnsian comics. Like, it's exactly what I want it to be. There's, the story that we all know, and then the thing that he adds in that's new, and he tweaks the mythology of the character just a little. And here, that's in full view. Even though this is a new character, the Shazam mythos, if you will, is changing.
There's a lot of world building in this one. We get the backstory of the Funlands and this King Kid. Yeah, King Kid. And basically he's feeding them all this delightful junk food, and Mary's not willing to jump in, but everyone else. I actually love the art on Darla's face as she's eating a donut. She's like just clearly loving it, and like, come on, Mary, jump in.
Well, remember we saw this place in the last issue was darker than we thought it would be, because the kid's like, no more milkshakes, and the little clown guys are chasing them down. So that was our first hint that something wasn't right. And then here with Mary's like, yeah, this place is cool and all, guys, but like, we got to get home to our parents, which totally breaks King Kid.
Yeah.
Because he's like, no, I want to be in your family. There were 7 thrones, 1 for each of the Magic Lands. And there's 6 of you and 1 of me, so let me join your family. So tell me your magic word.
Yeah, he wants to be the 7th. He wants to be the Shazam family. And like, I don't know. That's a secret. Actually, I love Mary, like, because I think Darla almost says it, and Mary like jumps in, like covers her mouth. I really like that moment. Do you know what touch I liked? So when he tells his backstory and how he got here, I liked that the art in that was Nato, who did the backup in the first issue of Mary's backstory. It was almost like it was trying to appeal to her, so the art did the same thing, but saying, hey, this is just like your story where he was like a runaway, and this place is for kids who have bad parents. And I was like, oh, I like that touch, that's callback in the art. That was a really nice idea.
I really want to identify with Freddy, or not Freddy. I do identify with Freddy more than anyone, because he's the Joker that doesn't take things seriously. But with Billy, right? He's the title character of Shazam and whatnot. But Mary here being the voice of reason, I really enjoyed. I was really like, come on, guys, we can't stay here and do this. We got stuff to do.
Do you know what I really like about this? Is I like that the book so far really doesn't feel like it's favouring Billy. It feels like it really is an ensemble amongst all of them. And
and that fits in with Shazam, like the family. Like, it's not just him. Shazam is all of them, because they split the power. And I feel like when we saw the 7 Magic Lands, I felt that's kind of where it was going. That each one of them is meant to hold sway over one of them. But with how King Kid tells the story, and like you had the ones from Monsterland, which is the one that we saw, that was blocked off.
Yeah.
From the train tracks.
Which they mentioned is meant to be blocked off. That's been blocked off for a while.
I'm trying to think, maybe that's the 7th one that's missing. Like whoever, they're all supposed to divide the other ones.
Because we get like a 2-page spread of that map, and it's the Funlands, the Game Lands, the Earthlands, the Darklands, the Monsterlands, the Wildlands, and the Wozenderlands.
Which I looked up, and that's not a word. So, Johns, what are you doing with that?
I'm not shocked.
Yeah.
It's basically the Wonderlands, but with the Oz, like Wizard of Oz, slotted into it. So I don't know what's going on there. So basically what happens is that once someone mentions that Mary's 18, because she's like, getting ready for college, she's like, King Kid's like, she's an adult? What?
There's no adults are allowed here.
Yeah. And then they kind of turn, all these little like clown like henchmen start attacking them and try to grab them. So 3 of them get nabbed. So only Billy, Eugene, and Pedro can say Shazam. So they power her up, and they're like, oh, you're all adults, you're all liars. So they end up fighting, and there's a bit of a tussle. And the end of the issue is basically they all get split up, and Eugene and Pedro get thrown into one of the other lands. Right? It's all this.
They go to Tron.
Yeah, it's this punky sci-fi city, and it's the Game Lands. And I was like, oh man, I thought the Game Lands was going to be like all like medieval games. This is much cooler. It's all blue and neon, and it's glorious. And then Freddy and Darla get thrown into the Wildlands, and we get cops that are a cat, and they're humanoid cats and bears, but
they're basically in Zootopia.
Yeah. But it's a cat, a bear, and a horse by the looks of it.
Which makes me think of Takitani, because Takitani was a tiger in a suit with a bow tie.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how that's going to play in. But this is also the continuity that we set forth from the New 52, and Takitani was a regular tiger at the Philadelphia Zoo. So, I trust in Johns.
Yeah.
But, I just want to point that out.
I love where this leaves everyone off. Obviously, Mary and Billy are not accounted for. Presumably, they're still in the Funlands with the kids and King Kid and all that. But no, I love the world building in this issue. If anything, the only complaint I have about the book is that the front cover. Now, sometimes comic covers can be misleading, but the front cover has what's his face, Mr. Mind, boiling Shazam in a broth of some kind.
Probably doing some kind of arcade magic.
Yeah, but he's not even in. I mean, he's mentioned. Like we find out that he comes from the Monsterlands.
Wildlands.
Yeah. The Wildlands.
What?
You sure it's not the Monsterlands?
Well, so last time that they talked about that it was rumored he came from the Wildlands but took over the Monsterlands.
Okay, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, so and then he led the Monsterlands against the rest of them. That's why it's blocked off.
Yeah, I remember him leading them, which is why I thought he was from there.
Yeah. So
there's no Mr. Mind in this, but his exploits are mentioned. So there's a lot of world building. And I like what they did here. And again, the touch of using that same artist of that backup to sort of almost in a weird meta way, kind of like tie into the story that Mary had, so that it appeals to her more, and then we make that connection in the art is actually really smart. So, I dig that a lot. And then the rest of the art goes well. And Santucci is credited, so I think Santucci was also sharing art duties with Ego.
Some stuff, yeah.
So. Hey ho, but what are you giving it, Matt?
I'm gonna give this an 8.5. I love everything in this issue. Just King Kid. I was waiting for the heel turn, and it came. Like,
I'll probably go with a straight 8, but I did really like it. Like it's like I enjoyed the art. Like I say, I love that touch of using that backup artist again, and I love the. Like, because this is a lot of setup in this issue, but that ending is like, okay, now we get to the adventure. Now we've got the game lands. Now we've got the wildlands. Now we can do these different things, and they're all split up. So the real fun, I think, starting next issue. But I dug this a lot. Paced very well. Character dialogue sounds great. So nothing to really complain about.